Hello everyone, hope you're doing well today. Here I am in another race with the lovely GTE class, again in the BMW M8. We're around the brand new rescanned Spa.
You need to catch up to the guy ahead.
I've only done a little bit of practice once more, so I'm not
Okay,
expecting
mate, get
great,
ready.
but I'm hoping I can at least keep up with the rest of the pack.
Green, green, green.
I'm going to be very cautious here. I know just how bad turn 1 at Spa is. I opted here for the outer line,
Car
trying to keep
right.
an eye for whatever is happening on the inside.
Clear on your right.
And looks like something
Still there.
happened there, but
Clear
we're
right.
just able to get through. And we slot straight in. I'm expecting the Porsche to slot in between me and the Corvette, which he does, and we're able to form
Car
a
in
nice
front is
line.
not the cleanest racer. Sabot. Car
If we look behind in the wing mirror, then something has just gone on there, so we'll cut back and have a look at what happened at the start. You can see here I take a nice open line here, giving plenty of room on the inside. There's a bit of a kerfuffle there. Cars coming together and that Corvette gets turned. Thankfully we get past safely on the outside and we slot in. Now pay attention to the Corvette behind me as we come through Rouge and Radillon. He loses the back end and looks like he catches the car in front of him as well. Get a look here. And you can see, yep, he just loses that back end and he catches the white Corvette. Now watch that white Corvette ahead of him. It's ever so lucky there, just as the cars come by and he has a little move forward. Carrying on here, we're still on the first lap, coming up to the first set of curves now. The BMW is not very good through this section. This setup I'm running from Majors is a very low downforce one, so I've got to be very careful here whilst I'm on cold tyres, and I'm going to have to be very careful later if I start overheating my tyres. As you can see, we're just quite happily slotted in, following the number 4 car in front, so I'm hoping I can keep up with him and he can lead the way. Ahead you can see the car's starting to form a gap as well, so I'm just hoping here that the number 4 car in front can keep up with them and we can follow in his wake. Behind, the cars all sort of seemed about at the same pace as me, so I'm just wanting to keep them at arm's length. Very awkward now on that rescanned corner. Kept finding that if I didn't cut in early, the car would just keep going wide, and if you touch the gravel there, all your momentum just gets lost. A little bit wide there on the cold tyres. Normally in practice I've been able to take that flat. And into the bus stop for the first time. It's all nice and tidy, no real fuss here.
Eighth place.
It's an interesting line from the Ferrari ahead. I'm cautious of his rejoin, but I'm understeering wide myself there, nearly catch him. Thankfully we avoid the contact, and you can see behind though it's about to go too wide into a Rouge. And looks like they made it work, and we've managed to keep up with the car ahead of us. Now, I'm not looking for the overtake here, I'm merely just trying to keep out of his slipstream, as I know it seems that my low downforce is much faster down the Kemmel Straight than the Porsche, but in through the corner section he just completely walks away from me. Part of that is my own skill of course, but you can just generally feel that the BMW does not like to change direction. Again, no name as well. I feel it's become a lot trickier now on this rescan of Spa. Overall though, I'm loving the detail that's been put into this track. iRacing have really outdone themselves. You can see I'm starting to lose the car in front of me, but thankfully I've got a good gap behind, and we've got a car off ahead of us.
Looks like it's Zach.
He's keeping to the left. see his headlights, so I stay right there, and we're through safely.
Well, go left.
When the tyres up to temperature, I'm back able to take that corner flat.
The leader has just done a 2:12.88.
It's amazing that those people can do the 212s in those
Don't
cars.
think about the lap times, just hit each and every apex.
In quali, I just got into the high 213s, but during the race, as you can see here, my average is going to be into the 214s. I just didn't really have the overall pace going into this, so thankfully with the GTE races, it is a race rather than a sprint, so unfortunately, yep, here I just got a little too wide hitting that inside curve and I get a slowdown. Thankfully, iRacing have fixed slowdowns, so I can take it in a reasonable standard if I bleed off that initial part of it.
We predict your refuel window will open after 16 minutes and closes after 35
It's just me
minutes on
going
your
wide,
right.
but you'll see I've got the car number
Still
1
there.
going down our inside, so I'm not really fighting
Still
this
there.
again.
Right side's clear.
I know he's going to be faster than me, so I just want to follow him through and let him punch a hole through the gap. As you've probably seen, most of the cars in this race are either Corvettes or Porsches. We do have a Ferrari in front of us again, like he's managed to get back into his swing of things. But overall at the moment in the
Car ahead is car
GTEs,
number 1.
the Corvette is by far the strongest car, followed closely by the Porsche. The BMW seems to be a bit of an outlier, so I'm not quite sure if I'm really going to be up to pace, but I'm planning to stick with the BMW through this season. Like Tobias is very unhappy. You'll see Coleman in the mirror. We both qualified pretty close to each other here, so I'm more interested to see if he's going to try and stick with me, knowing that the BMW is faster down the straights, and if he's going to start fuel saving behind me. Now I do go wide here, but by just simply abandoning the apex, I'm able to keep the momentum up and still get a good launch heading down towards Eau Rouge. Now, some cars it's pretty sketchy going up here. It is with the BMW. I can do it flat, but I've got to really turn hard right into it in order to stay flat through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. See the cars behind, even in the slipstream, they just can't catch up with how fast the BMW can go, but through here I just make an absolute mess of it. Even
Adam, you do know you can get fucking banned for flashing constantly.
Yep, more unhappy people. And now we have car 3 behind us. He's come back after a spin I believe he had on the first lap, so I know he's going to be there and I'm expecting him to make a move at some point, so I'm curious to see. But for now, looks like he's just settling in behind us.
Hold your nerve, make them do the work.
Through this section, I feel I was really losing the time. I was having to be so slow through that first corner in order to try and get a good exit out of the second one. At least I know as long as I get a good exit down the straight here, I make up some good time in the BMW. I expected him to make a move here.
Right side's clear.
which is why I was
On
going
your
to
left.
give him the
Left
outside,
side.
but he tried to go to the inside.
He's still there.
A bit of a
He's still
miscommunication as
there.
we bang doors there.
Clear left.
No real
Come on,
harm,
man,
it's just
defend
the...
harder.
It's always very difficult trying to fit two of these big GTEs into the bus stop.
10th position. Keep it neat and tidy. We still might get something out of this. That lap time was 2:14.78.
I tried experimenting going through there in second. Normally once I bleed off fuel it is quite fast going through using second gear through the first corner, but it's not quite there yet with how much fuel I'm still carrying. Now look here down the straight, this Corvette has got a very low downforce setup, but with my low downforce setup, I'm just reeling him in. I do move down the inside, but I'm going to try and brake early here as I'm not looking to make the move on him.
Clear right.
See, then he catches the curve, which tends his car
Left
wide,
side.
so I just have to seize the
still
opportunity.
there.
And over my
Still
line
there.
here. With a bit of door banging.
Hold your line. Still there. Clear left. The car in front of us is now Germany. Car number 8.
I'm trying not to fight him, but I'm also trying not to lose the position to Coleman behind us, so I'm just hoping he can catch us on one of the straights. I flashes, and I'm not sure why he goes for the move here. He goes into the back of us. I mean, I was not slowing down whatsoever through there. I was taking my normal line and braking point. And unfortunately, he's come off worse for that one. See, now I'm feeling like I'm the cork in the bottom, because we've got both Coleman and two other cars behind him there, all held up by me through that section.
Come on, don't make it easy for him. Make him go the long way around.
I've been pushing so hard and all this, I've not been able to do any fuel saving whatsoever.
Incident in bus stop. We think it might be Zach.
We just need to ignore that, as unfortunately on this new rescanned Spa, anyone entering the pits causes a yellow flag through there.
P9. The lap time was a 2:15.00.
See, I'm doing terrible with my lap times here, nowhere near the cars ahead of us.
The guy in front is Zach, car number 6.
But we're still able to keep ahead of the group thanks to this setup with the BM. Like every time I get onto the Kemmel straight, you can see, even though that Coleman is 0.4 of a second behind us there, he's just not able to draw any time back whatsoever. Looks like he's under attack, but they don't commit to it. So difficult through there, at least in the BMW I can't go over the curves, which is the optimal line normally. Whereas you'll see like the Corvettes and some of the Porsches are able to just ride straight over those curves and take the more optimal line. Through here the BMW is very nice, I hold it in third just to keep the momentum up, but then through No Name it's so difficult to get that turning correct for it, and you can lose so much time like I am doing there. Still lovely through 2-on though, I can really let the car just dig into it and get the power down. You see, even though Coleman's catching up to us, he's not really threatening here, he's just trying to keep close because he wants to stay in our slipstream as we come onto these straights. Looks like he got a bad exit out of there, now 6/10 down behind us. He's still under threat from car 15 behind him. Still very lovely coming into the bus stop. The BMW's brakes, though you have to brake a little earlier compared to other cars, once it is into that good braking zone, it stops and it turns fantastically.
You've just done a 2:14.17. That's your best lap in the session.
And same for turn 1, you can really bounce the car on the brakes and then get the power down on the exit. I think that's just about what's keeping me ahead of Coleman at this stage. Now from here we didn't really progress, so I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. And so coming now onto lap 12, Coleman just quite happily stayed behind us. He didn't really make any moves and just stuck to his fuel saving. I was able to save a little bit of fuel myself, but overall I know he's going to undercut me in the pits. You'll see there on the iOverlay fuel I need at least 28 litres, so I'm going to be curious to see what the spotter tries to put in for me. Now into the bus stop I go a little wide, but I stay to the right, and Coleman gets the idea that I'm also going into the pits.
Watch your speed. Pit lane speed limit is 72 kilometers per hour. Okay, we'll fill you to the
Now, I
end.
was
Box in,
curious that
5,
it was going to put in 30 litres rather than the
3,
28,
2,
but I decided to play it safe
1.
here.
Box now.
I've been bit too many times in the past by trying to
Right
underfuel.
front, 88%. Rear left, 89.
And as you can hear him calling out, the tyres on these cars really don't degrade after a couple of laps. As you see, Coleman comes out just ahead, not really by much, so that did surprise me.
Clear.
But I figure we're still in the race for this.
La Source. It looks like Killman.
On the exit we've got a Corvette behind us. I wasn't sure what to do here. He wasn't quite closing as fast, otherwise I would have given him the position just to not lose any time. But he slotted in behind us and we're able to keep going. You see I'm gaining a couple tenths on Coleman down the Camel, just thanks to that speed of the BMW.
Right, the guy ahead of us is Killman, car number 12. Don't let this guy intimidate you. They're faster than us into La Source.
Oh, and here, unfortunately, I come in a little too hot. And thankfully I'm able to save the car, and car 15 behind us avoids us. But now the tyres are overheated and it's going to take at least a lap before they start coming back down to normal temperatures, so I've got to be very careful.
Next car is Miguel, car number 15.
You see here we're going wide through Pouon, so I've really got to be careful whilst the tyres are overheated. And they are just walking away completely in front of us now. Thankfully I've still got a good safe gap to the cars behind, so I just need to let the car settle back down, cool the tyres and get back up to pace.
The gap to P9 ahead is now 2.0.
We will skip ahead again because not really a lot happened here. So coming on to the second to last lap of the race now, as you can see the top left, the indicator for the laps is now at 20.7, which normally means we're going to go the extra lap, and you'll see as we get to the line.
Just 2 minutes left, 2 minutes.
Unfortunately for me, Dominguez, I'm probably pronouncing that horribly, but car number 3 has had an amazing mega recovery drive, and you can see his lap times in the top left have been completely trouncing mine, nearly 1.7 seconds ahead of me on that lap alone. He's been slowly catching up over time for the past few laps, and now he is in the danger zone for me. He's in that 1 second gap where he's going to start getting the slipstream from me, and that Corvette, as I know, is very fast in a straight line. Now he is certainly faster than me, but this is the second to last lap, so if I can at least try to keep a form of gap,
5 minutes of fuel
this
left.
might come down to the wire if I'm lucky on the final lap.
The car in front is Killman, car number 12.
I'm really pushing the car through here, trying to extract every second I can out of it. And the problem with doing this is that it's going to start really heating up those tyres. Surprisingly as well for me, you can see Coleman, he had pulled a big gap to me, but now he started to slow down. I checked and it looked like he had underfueled, so he was doing some very aggressive fuel saving on these last few laps, which has brought him back into reach with that less than 2 second gap now. coming through Pouon, and Dominguez is really just hanging back for now. There's no point in him really trying to make a move, as he knows that if I can stay within his slipstream, there's a good chance I can come back at him. Thankfully, my fuel calculations from crew chief worked out perfectly here, as I have got the extra fuel I need for that last lap, but I'm low enough where my car is probably on equal footing to his. You can see here he's having a look, but it's very dangerous to go too wide through here, even in the GTEs with their bit more downforce compared to the GT3 counterparts. I was half expecting him to make a move here into the bus stop, and I was very surprised he didn't, so I just hang it out as best as I can. Now expecting him to try and make a move for the Camel, but as you can see, once more I've caught up to Coleman. I'm now within 1 second from him, which means I will get his slipstream coming down the Camel straight, and this might make all the difference that I need now in this final lap.
That's good consistency, keep it up.
Again, I managed to get a good exit coming out of turn 1. The BMW is still really great at putting down that power. And we're 7 tenths from Coleman. Dominguez is 4 tenths behind us, so he too is going to be getting my slipstream. I go very bad through Rouge and Radion there. That really kills my momentum. So even though I've got the slipstream Coleman here, I'm not really gaining any ground on him. You can see Dominguez is very close in my rear view mirror, very, very close. He's got a lot of pressure on me. I clip a wheel here into the curb, and that unsettles the car. And Dominguez seizes the opportunity, just as I did to him a good few laps earlier.
Come on, don't let him get away.
All I can do now is hope I can stay within his slipstream, because if Coleman is fuel saving, I might be able to still make a place back and finish within the top 10. I can also hope that Dominguez might make a mistake, but you can see here my front tyres are just so cooked at this stage. I'm really struggling to get the car to turn in and hold it compared to what it was like earlier. Same here through Pouon, I'm just struggling to get those front tyres to turn in and stay so I can put the power down. So Dominguez has built up a sizable gap now, which means I'm not going to get his slipstream on the final back straight. And he is right up behind the back of Coleman here, so he's likely going to get the overtake on him.
We're running on fumes, mate.
You see here, he's well within striking distance going into the bus stop. He's going to get a great run here, so it's all going to be about the timing for him.
Francisco, 2:12.45.
See, now this is the point where Dominguez strikes. He's alongside, and looks like Coleman has ceded the position to him. Unfortunately for me, I come in a little too hot and lose the rear of the car. Thankfully, I've got a nice safe gap to the cars behind me, so I get to come back and finish in P11. So I've still gained 1 position from my start, and overall I've had a good race, which I can be happy with positive IR and safety. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe, and see you in the future.